Hey everybody, welcome to Hockey Skate Down. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our hockey team, it's free. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much, and let's get started. So, Ryan Novosinski dropped an article, and in this article, there's a snippet that I wanted to do a video on, and I'm sure everybody's seen this going around. I'm doing this video Saturday night. I'm going to release it on Sunday, but this happened Friday where they were talking, where this news was going around with Luke Hughes and his contract extension. We're all waiting to see what happens. He's one of the top RFAs out there, and a lot of things are pinning on what happens with this. And there's word of him possibly signing a 5-year contract, which aligns with Jack Hughes, and they both become free agents that year. So a lot of people are panicking. I'm not panicking yet, but I'm looking outside the box of what potentially could happen to the Devils when that year comes. So I wanted to talk about in this video because I had a feeling this was going to happen. I wanted to do a video earlier on this, but I thought maybe he would just sign an 8-year deal and it'd be said and done, and Jack would sign his extension and Quinn would come over, but may not be that simple. So let's talk about in this video. So please stay with me throughout. So Ryan Novosinski's article, he mentioned this, and it's very interesting. Please go check it out. But this is a short snippet of what he mentioned. Ryan Novosinski is back covering the New Jersey Devils, so this isn't just rumors going around the NHL by some random source. This is someone who actually covers the team and is in the inside track. So what he said was the two sides want different things. Last we heard, the Devils were seeking either a short bridge deal around 3 years or a max deal of 8 years. Now, this is the last time that they could do these 8-year contracts. The CBA is changing where the max contract is going to be 7 years. So the Devils want to take advantage of that and sign Luke Hughes to an 8-year deal, which I hope Tom Fitzgerald can do. But the Hughes side wants Luke's deal to line up with Jack Hughes' deal to be free agents both in the year of 2030. So this would mean a 5-year extension for Luke. So let's see how this happens. Jack Hughes' contract expires in the 2030 year. He has a couple of years left with the New Jersey Devils. Luke Hughes signs a 5-year deal. He becomes a UFA in the same year that Jack becomes a UFA. And then Quinn Hughes is a UFA in 2027, but he can also sign a 3-year extension with the Vancouver Canucks or go somewhere else. And then all three brothers will be 2030 free agents. So, this is far-fetched for a team to even put aside that much cap space to get these three brothers. You can see possibly being anywhere in the high 30s to 40s because, you're getting the top defenseman who's going to command a lot in this next deal in Quinn Hughes, arguably the best defenseman in the league right now. You have one of the best centers in the NHL and a franchise player in Jack Hughes, and Luke Hughes, who can be just as good as Quinn Hughes one day. And, he's getting better year by year, and, he's just not even entering his prime yet. So, of course, the team will want to save that much money in cap space to sign all these three brothers. So, with the cap going up each year, this has become more of a reach for teams to possibly do this. So, this is where Devils fans are worrying about this, myself included. I'm not panicking yet, but, this is something that I assumed might happen. What happens if Luke Hughes doesn't sign an 8-year deal, and, how does this impact what his brothers do? So, they're all together. They're all together all the time. They're a tight-knit family. So we all could assume that Jack, Luke, and Quinn are deciding what to do in the near future, when their contracts how they could all make them join up at the same time. You know, this is something they're probably talking about on, when they get together, what the future could look like for these three brothers playing on the same team. Devils fans all envisioned it'd be for them because Jack and Luke are already there, and Quinn could come over to play for the Devils in a couple of years when he's a free agent. But it might not be that easy anymore. Maybe Quinn Hughes stays with the Vancouver Canucks for another 3 years after his contract expires now. He's a captain there. You see a lot of Vancouver Canucks sticking around with the organization this past offseason. You've seen Demko re-sign for long term. You've seen Brock Besser stick around long term, Connor Garland. So a lot of those players are returning, and maybe the tides are turning from this past year and all the stuff that happened behind the scenes with the Vancouver Canucks. So maybe he decides to stick around. I don't know. But, the Devils are an up-and-coming team. They got a lot of players in the near future as well to look forward to in goal and defense and forwards. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out because it's got me worried to see what Fitzgerald might do in this situation. If you don't see a future with the Hughes brothers, you have to move them for really good return because, you're losing your star center. You're losing one of your best defensemen. You're going to have to move him for a really solid return if they don't want to stick around. And I hope he plays his cards right because we've seen this happen a lot, especially to the New Jersey Devils where their star players walk in free agency for nothing. And you can't have that happen with Jack and Luke Hughes. So hopefully Fitzgerald plays this right. I know a lot of Devils fans don't have a lot of faith in Tom Fitzgerald from the recent moves he's made and the way this offseason kind of went where, he did add, but, when you're still looking on paper, there's still moves to make, and they haven't been done and addressed in over 50 days. So, this is something that when you see this, you get a little bit worried because what's going to happen in the future with New Jersey Devils. I know this is years down the line, but, when your star player and your franchise player and one of your best up-and-coming defensemen are not committed long-term or want to stick around, they have alternate plans, you have to do something and be proactive with this because, you don't want it to bury your organization going forward. So this is interesting news. I could be blowing this way out of proportion, but I'm sure a lot of Devils fans are thinking the same way I am and what's going to happen with this. Because if we see Luke Hughes signing a 5-year extension, a lot of Devils fans are going to be like, we should have signed up to 8. And I know if we can't because the whole situation, what's going on, where the brothers want to sync up and play on another team in the near future. So comment below. What do you think about this? What do you think Luke Hughes gets? And I'm sure as I'm doing this video, the news will break and he signs his extension. But, I had to do a video on this because I was thinking about this leading up to this. And, I always wondered what happens if they're already planning what they want to do in the future of playing together and it's not going to be in the Devils. So comment below. Let me know what you think about this. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate your time. Smash that like button if you haven't done so and subscribe to Hockey Skate Down. It's free and join our hockey team. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great night. Take it easy. Stay safe.